Hey, whoever's watching. I just want to start this video and say that I'm editing this all together kind of as a Father's Day present. So, this may all kind of be catered toward my dad. But, yeah, I hope whoever's watching enjoys. This is just kind of a summary of my camping trip with my papa. And, yeah, it's a good time. And, for you, Papa, happy Father's Day. Hello, everybody. It's day one. I'm real tired. I'm about to go on our big trip in this monstrosity. There's my wife saying goodbye to my dog. Let's have a look at the crap we got. There's a lot of stuff in there, but I can't really show you. Yeah, you see that in there? That's the food. And yeah, I'll be sitting here mostly. I'll also drive. This is where the dog will be sitting. And there's a cooler. And my mom's coming to say goodbye to me, so goodbye, internet. So, something to note right off the bat is that clearly we recorded all the drives, at least most of the drives, and that will be included in here. Obviously, this isn't going to be too interesting of the drive. This is us leaving, Tennessee, heading north to Illinois. Pretty normal stuff, at least for us. So I might skip ahead, skip the boring parts. I'll keep doing that throughout the trip, and I'll stop on interesting stuff, point it out, stuff like that. But yeah, this is a drive. Something that I think is particularly noteworthy throughout these drive videos, especially when it's a little rainy, perhaps a little cloudy, is just looking at how the clouds move. It can be crazy, especially when it's partly cloudy. Like, this isn't the best example, but you can still see some cloud movement and stuff. It's pretty neat, at least to me. I think so. So our first stop on the trip, the place we're driving to right now, is going to be in Illinois. Like I mentioned earlier, it will be at the Garden of the Gods, which I will provide pictures of course, and such. But, in the grand scheme of things, as cool as this was to see on the first day, I do think it was a definite intro to the rest of the trip. Like, compared to everything else that comes, it's maybe a little underwhelming, but, still pretty neat. Good way to start off, and no regrets. Something that was kind of amusing about this particular leg of the trip, Garden of the Gods is actually very close to where my wife, her hometown. I'm not obviously going to give anything away, but she lives very close, and this is pretty much the exact same route I would take to go there. I told my dad this, and it's just kind of funny that was the way we started out the trip, It was like a trip to see all these new things, all this stuff we've never seen before. And, of course, we go along the route I've gone 1,000 times before to see my wife, or see her family, or see her friends, whatever. Interesting little tidbit I thought I'd include in here. Fun fact about something that I thought was interesting. So my dad has been going to Hardee's. He says he's been going his whole life, but he's never had breakfast there. So I made it a point to, you know, let's go to Hardee's for breakfast. That's what we did for our first day's breakfast. We got there, you know, it was probably about 10. We'd probably been driving a couple hours when we got there. Wasn't too far from home, but he had never had Hardee's breakfast, and I'm kind of a fan. I'm a fan of Hardee's breakfast, so I wanted him to experience it, and so we did. This is, yeah, this is where we went, this is where we stopped, and this is us leaving. Something that might be worth noting as well is the first day of driving was actually, I'm pretty sure it was the longest amount of driving we actually did on the whole trip, aside from when I was heading back, but that's a whole other story. We'll get there. I don't even think that's recorded. It doesn't matter. We're not there yet, but this was definitely a long drive. I'm pretty sure we left at 7:30 and got to where we were stopping about midnight. There's a lot of driving, but you know, it's all here for you to see. So, in case it isn't clear, I am kind of editing this whole video shebang and recording these little voice clips simultaneously. I'm not editing this all together and then recording the voice clips. It's happening at the same time. But there is one other stop before Garden of the Gods that I forgot about. We'll be getting there real soon, and well, it's a little important to me personally. Did you see it? Did you see where we're stopping? Did you see why we parked here? Well, if you didn't, I make it very clear in this next little short clip. Dispensary. Anyway, moving right along. Right after that stop, we are very close to Garden of the Gods. We will be reaching there very soon. You'll be seeing some neat little, a neat little forest. That's where we're gonna be stopping. Yeah, that'll be it. And once we get there, I can provide some neat pictures. It'll be a nice little slideshow accompanied with some more groovin' music. So yeah, enjoy everybody. Just up here you can see the sort of forest I'm talking about. You can even see some like national park signs. Maybe they're state park signs, whatever. Close enough, same thing. Either way, yeah, this is Garden of the Gonds area. We will be parking very soon. Yeah, be able to see some neat rocks. Rockin' rocks. Pun. Hello everybody, here we are. We're at Garden of the Gods. We're gonna do a quick hike and I'm gonna record it. So enjoy. So I did indeed attempt to record this hike. This is the one and only hike I recorded, because what I did not take into account when thinking that I could record all hikes was that it kills the camera like nothing else. So yeah, there's this short video of this hike. It's kind of sporadic because at some points I took pictures, which after this short video I will provide the pictures, and pictures I took on my phone and pictures my dad took. So yeah, enjoy. And here we are on the first glorious slideshow of the trip. You may notice in a couple pictures here, obviously not this wonderful selfie, that there are just some random people. That is because neither my dad nor I have any real regard for people's privacy in photographs. If any of you are in these photos and you want your faces blurred, please contact me as soon as possible. Also, what is this thing? I don't really know, but we saw it a couple times and we even got stuck behind it for a really long time, as you can see here. Yeah, this goes on for a while. Let's just skip ahead. So, from Garden of the Gods, our next goal was to head northwest. Our first campsite was planned to be in Iowa. We do actually pass through St. Louis. You can see this bridge and maybe even a glimpse of the arch right here. Look at these pictures. Yeah, you see them? Yep, there they are. We just kept going. It's not like we really stopped. Obviously, you know, I said just the stop. It was our planned stop. We'll get there. We'll get there. You'll see what I mean when we get there. But yeah, let's just keep watching this lovely drive. I just want to say this, whether you have this video on as background noise, you have it like on your second screen, maybe you're actually watching the whole thing, which is probably what I'm doing with my dad. Regardless of why you're here, I appreciate you watching this video. This trip was truly a wonderful experience, and I figured now was a good time to say all this, because this, like I said, is the longest driving part of the whole trip. It's just a lot of these time lapses for this day, and there's not too much to talk about on this time lapse in particular, just because this is all familiar territory to me and my dad. But yeah, thank you, viewer, thank you for being here, regardless of who you are or why you're here, or if you feel like you're obligated to be here. Thank you. And now you can see the clouds clearing up, which is pretty exciting to me for the sake of the time lapse. You can see a lot of the cloud movement I actually mentioned earlier. You can see how cool it looks just watching these clouds with a time lapse while driving. It's pretty neat. This is one of my favorite parts of the time lapse is just seeing the sky, especially in these early days where there's not a whole lot that's new to us, like I've said about 3 or 4 times now. But yeah, just check out those clouds, man. The landscape in general also just kind of gets prettier, easier to look at least, as the sky clears up. It's very noticeable upon looking back, but it's kind of funny because when we were driving, I wouldn't have really noticed just how much of a difference the clear sky made. But you know, in the video, you can really see it. You can really just see how all the colors pop once the clouds clear up. And even then, I mean, still just looking at the sky and its colors is something else, you know? As you might have guessed, that was a stop for gas. You know, there's a lot of those along the trip. Actually, for many of them, I do keep the camera rolling. You can see us pumping gas. You can see me, like, wiping the bugs off the windshield sometimes. But I'm not gonna keep that in this video, because it's already getting long enough as it is. You know, if I'm keeping all these time-lapses in here, this is gonna be like a full-fledged movie, like Lord of the Rings length movie. It's gonna be long. But hey, if you're here, please watch in segments, or maybe make it a whole thing. Like, get some popcorn, sit down, watch this whole thing. You know, I'm saying this a little late because we're about 20 minutes in, but just keep it in mind. I don't expect anyone to watch this all in one sitting unless that's what you really want to do. And here now we are beginning to see the problem with taking road trips out west if you don't plan to stop before the sun sets. Oh boy. Well, for the rest of this time lapse, you'll probably see the sun going lower and lower and lower. And yeah, it was definitely a problem for us when we were driving, but it's not as terrible in the time lapse. It's still a little bright. I wouldn't recommend looking directly at it too much. I don't know if that can really affect you through a video. I don't think it can, but I still wouldn't recommend it. It's a bit much. But yeah, suns while driving out west, don't recommend. It is a little noticeable that things are getting more hilly, which is, you know, cool to watch in the time-lapse. But, you know, we haven't even gotten close to the cool stuff yet, you know? Like, you wait. Just you wait, viewer. Just you wait. So, another little interesting tidbit to throw on here. So up here in a minute or so, we're gonna stop at Taco John's, which, you know, me and my dad being from, let's just say southwestern Tennessee. If you know the geography of Tennessee, you can probably figure out where we live from that, but anyway, that's not important. With us being from there, we'd never actually encountered Taco John's, and, you know, I'd been there before because I've gone on a few road trips out west and stuff like that. But for those that don't know, I will explain it to you as I explained it to my dad. It is like Taco Bell, but a little better. Not quite dog food quality, if you know what I mean. And you know, my dad clearly enjoyed the place. You know, we both got street tacos. That's kind of my go-to thing, so I just got the same thing for him. And he loved it. He was like, why don't we have one of these where we live? We saw him along the rest of the trip, and he'd just say things like, oh, there's Taco John's. If we can't find anywhere else to eat, we always got Taco John's. But hey, Taco John's good. And that was us stopping for Taco John's for
dinner.
You know, this is similar to Garden of the Gods. It's kind of underwhelming in the face of everything else we ate on the trip, but you know, it was good. It was a good little. It was nice. It was nice that my dad had never been there, and I could you know, show him something new, even though we were still among a bunch of familiar stuff. You know what I mean? Like, even though it was a drive that we've done a million times, you know, it's still got little tidbits of stuff that at least he can experience something new. If it isn't clear, the whole point of this trip is for us to just experience new stuff, see new stuff, taste new stuff. You know, as much as I was, you know, criticizing the sun setting in the west, for the sake of the time lapse, the sunset looks really, really cool. Like, look at this. Just look at it as we drive, you know, in open spaces. You can really get some multiple colors, and the blue is still there. It's just gorgeous, man. I do believe here we are passing through Kansas City, if I recall correctly, and yeah, it was kind of neat. Passed through it, got to see a city we've never seen. I've certainly never seen Kansas City. I didn't really get too many pictures of anything, but you could have seen the skyscrapers and stuff, just the downtown back there, and you know, it's pretty cool to see in the time lapse. As gorgeous as the sunset does look here, it does mean that when the sun sets, the camera doesn't really pick up much from there. It gets a little too dark, but I'll keep the time lapse going as long as I can. I did keep the time lapse on, like I kept the camera on throughout the dark sections of our drive, but it's just so dark and impossible to see anything. It's not even worth keeping. So once it gets dark enough, I'm just gonna jump to where we stopped. I do have clips for that, so, you know, you'll actually get to see my gorgeous face. Seeing it progressively get darker is pretty cool. Like, you know, just the colors, the palette of the video pretty much changes. It's like more mellow. You can see the car lights coming on. The cars become more distinctive because of their lights. You start seeing buildings as we pass them. It is neat to look at, but once it gets like pitch black outside, it's a little too much, you know? Well, here we are, where we're staying. We were gonna camp, but it's late and cold, and we didn't want to put up the tent when it's late and cold. So we're here at just a regular motel. It was cheap as fuck, but we just needed a bed. It's like almost midnight. We're about to go to sleep, but got Angel. She's over there. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah. End of day one. So yeah, like I said in the video, we had to stop at a motel. It was too late, it was too dark, it was too cold for us to actually camp like we wanted. But we did stop right outside where we planned on. So we weren't off schedule or anything. We just grabbed a $50 motel room. It was, it smelled a little weird. But, hey, it had a bed, and that's what we needed. But anyway, from here on, we move on to day 2. Exciting stuff, I know. We're already 30 minutes in, and it's not even day 2. But hopefully hopefully things speed along, or maybe they're a little more interesting going forward. Because like I said, that was the longest day of driving, so onward we go.